So hi everyone, welcome to day 3 of SOA Testing and Automation. So as communicated in the last course, last session, we will start the practical execution, how the project runs in real time, okay? So I will quickly share my screen and we will use the same Word file which we were referring in our last 2 sessions. So let me open this. So I have added few more things here, okay? So quickly I will start on this. But before that, in our last 2 sessions, we have learned about software testing, defect, risk, okay? What is SOA? What are the types of SOA? Okay, what are the APIs? And we have seen SOAP-based web service and REST API, how they look like in SOAP UI, okay? So we will see all those things in detail when we learn about the project, okay? So day 3, how a real project runs, okay? So the methods and processes to run a project for software development changed a lot in the last 10, 20 years, okay? So if we remember the softwares 10, 20 years ago, anyone used Orkut back in 2002, 3, 4, right? Orkut was a application. Instead of Facebook, we used to use Orkut for
Yes.
socializing, right? So why it failed? Why it failed, right? You must have thought that how that big application failed and Google had wrapped it up, right? Orkut is no more there, right? So 10, 20 years ago, few projects were running on legacy methods, okay? And they were not able to handle the changes, okay, which came with time, okay? So the method I used 12 years ago to start at the start of my career is rarely used now for any big project, okay? Many learning materials, certifications, and training materials still cover those old methods, but in my opinion, it has very little relevance nowadays or in coming days. But it is good to know about those courses, okay, methods, okay, as they are still used in short-term projects, okay? If any project comes for only 2 weeks or 1 month, right? People are still use those methods. But for any large enterprise, okay, or any big project or continuous project, right? Those methods have become irrelevant or useless, you can say. So I will quickly touch base on those methods. So the first method was waterfall method, okay? So the evident with the name itself, how water falls from the top to bottom, right? So they used to develop a software in the same manner, okay? So first they used to take the user requirement, then they used to do the system requirements, then global designing, then detailed designing, then implementation, and at the end testing, okay? So by the time they start
ਸਭ ਤੋਂ
taking the
ਥੱਲੇ ਤਾਂ ਨਵਾਂ
requirement,
ਪੈਕਡ ਪਿਆ
sorry,
ਸਭ
anyone
ਤੋਂ ਐਂਡ ਵਾਲਾ
saying something?
ਜਿੱਥੇ ਮਸਾਲੇ ਪਏ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ
Okay, someone is not on mute. Let me put everyone on mute, okay? Okay, all right. So at the time of the requirement gathering, tester was not in picture at all, right? So he was not aware what is being discussed, okay? When the implementation was happening, tester was unaware of what developers are implementing. Once the implementation was done, all these steps were followed, implementation was done, then testers used to come about the, used to know about the requirement, and then they used to start the testing, okay? So on the first day, I told you that defect can get injected from requirement gathering also, right? While designing also. How tester will catch those defects? It was not possible, right? Okay, so I will not waste much time on waterfall method, okay? I have just told you the limitation. So quickly read where still waterfall methods can be used. When the requirements are very well documented, clear and fixed, okay, which is impossible in nowadays, okay? But still, if you are able to achieve this, you can use waterfall method. Product definition is stable, okay? Product definition is not changing. You must be seeing in all apps in every week some UI changes, some feature comes, right? So the product keeps on changing, right? Like in India, we used to have the Airtel app, right? Airtel, the telecom app. So the app which I was using 2 months ago, and now it has a lot of changes, right? So the requirement itself changed for them because the market is very competitive. A lot of other players are there. They are exposing a lot of other features. So you need to be on the competitive edge, right? You need to evolve yourself. right, with the demands. Then technology is understood and is not dynamic. Okay, so which is not the case in most of the enterprises. That requirements are dynamic. Technology is also dynamic. Okay, there are no ambiguous requirements, which is impossible to achieve. Okay, nowadays ample resources with required expertise are available to support the product. Okay, and the project is solved. Okay? So you can still use waterfall method, but these criteria should be met. Again, someone on mute mode. I have muted you all. I don't know. Again, you are unmuting yourself. Can you go, please? Can you all please go on mute?
I think someone has joined through call, and I think on the phone they have to mute themselves. I think that is what it is.
Can you please do that? Yeah, I think we are good now. So what are the drawbacks of that method? Okay, waterfall method. Okay, no working software is produced until late during the life cycle. Okay, till it is coming for testing, no software is developed. Okay, I will tell you more about that. Okay, high amounts of risk and uncertainty. By the time it comes for testing, right, a lot of changes happened in the market. The rival company has started giving some other new feature. So the project itself became irrelevant by the time it came for testing. Suppose Facebook started their development, they thought that we will develop the entire Facebook and then only we will go for testing and then we will expose it to the users, right? By the time Facebook reached this phase after 5 months, 6 months, right, after implementing everything, by the time some other company came, okay, and they are giving more features than Facebook, then Facebook will think, okay, what is the need to deploy this for the users? Let's again go back to the user requirement phase, okay, for the new requirement. So it will unnecessarily waste your time and money, right? So not a good model for complex and object-oriented projects, poor model for long and ongoing projects. Okay. So, and the major thing is integration is done as a big bang at the very end. Okay. When everything is done, then the integration happens for all the other systems, which does not allow identifying any technological or business bottleneck or challenges early. Okay. Including defects at the requirement and design phase. So I am not going into deep. If you want, you can read this thing. It is good to know. Okay. If you want, you can read it. I am pinging you in the chat. Okay. For everyone, you can copy it somewhere in your notepad or words file. If you want to read it about it, you read it. Okay. It is good to know. Okay. But I am not covering it in my course in detail. Then one another model came, V model, where they used to test after each phase. Okay, after user requirement, they used to do the acceptance testing. Okay, whether the requirements are as per the business ideas or not. After system requirement, again they used to test whether the system has been designed as the user requirements or not. Okay, so after every phase they used to do the testing. Again, it had solved few of the problems, but still there were a lot of problems involved. Again, the uncertainty, long time, right? It was taking a long time to complete the project, right? A lot of other things you can read in detail. I will share this document today after the course to all of you, with all of you. You can read it. And for more information, again, you can go. I have also copied from here itself. So better you can go and read here. Okay. I'm again pinging you in the chat, in the WebEx chat. You can copy it somewhere, okay, in the notepad or somewhere. Now, latest method to execute software development. Okay, so what is the latest method? To handle the cons of old methods and to make software development more agile. What is agile? Okay, what is agile? A new method was introduced which we call as agile methodology. So what is agile? The literal meaning is able to move your body quickly and easily, right? Like gymnasts have great agility, right? So what is agile methodology in project management? Agile methodology is a way to manage a project by breaking it up into several phases. Okay, we have to develop Facebook. So what we will do, we will create a status update feature. Okay, only a status update feature. Okay, so by the end of 2 weeks, we will have one software in hand. All the stakeholders can see, okay, this is how a status update is going to work. right? This thing was not there in waterfall or V curve, right? Until unless the entire product is designed, the stakeholders cannot see the product, right? But here, even after a single functionality was developed, the stakeholders were able to see how it is working. So again, the agile methodology is a way to manage a project by breaking it up into several phases. It involves constant collaboration with the stakeholders and continuous improvement at every stage. So if you will have a working software in 2 weeks itself, you can see, you can have a feel of it. If you have any idea to further improve it, you can improve it at that point itself. No need to wait for 6 months, right? For the entire project development. Once the work begins, teams cycle through a process of planning, executing, and evaluating. Okay. When work begins, teams cycle through a process of planning, executing, and evaluating. I will explain in detail how it happens. Okay. Continuous collaboration is vital, both with team members and project stakeholders. Okay. For now, just I have read the definition and now I will show you how it works. So the main values with which the method was introduced: individuals and interactions over process and tools. Okay, more interactions between the testers, developers, developer lead, a stakeholder. Okay, more interaction while developing the software. Working software over comprehensive documentation. Instead of comprehensive documentation of the requirement, we break down the requirement into small requirements and we create working software instead of huge documentation. When one a small piece of software is available, then we think, okay, how to enhance it, how to integrate it with the another part now, how to develop the another feature now based on this. I hope you can understand it, right? How it is simplifying the things now. Customer collaboration over contract negotiation. So now, what is this? In waterfall method, in any service-based company like Accenture, Cognizant, Wipro, Infosys, right? They are service-based company. So any other client, think of any client like British Telecom, okay? British Telecom is a client. They gave one requirement, okay? The implementation was done through all these cycles, okay? At this point, when they reach the implementation, the client wants, okay, I want a new feature. Accenture will tell, hello, we have agreed for this requirement and we are delivering it. If you have new requirement, there will be a new billing, right? Because Accenture or any software company, any service-based company, they will commit on the billing based on the requirement. How much work is going to come? If client is changing the work in between, there will be a different billing, right? Then again, they have to negotiate on the contract. The contract is signed much before the requirement, right? Based on the requirement, that what are the requirements, based on that, the contract was signed between the client and the service provider, right? Or if you think about a large corporate which does not do outsourcing within their team also, in large corporates also, they must be having different teams. One team will say that we have done all the planning based on your requirement. Now, if you will change the requirement in between, how we will accommodate that, right? It was very difficult. So in Agile, while planning this method, this point has been considered, okay? That customer collaboration will be there throughout the process, okay? Responding to a change over following a plan, okay? So change, agility, right? Any change came, any new modification came, we are agile enough to accommodate that, right? So these are the 4 values based on that Agile was introduced. It was introduced somewhere near 2000 or 2001. I don't remember exactly. Okay, but at that time, a lot of people were reluctant to accept that. Okay, because they were habitual with the waterfall or V curve or some other methods. Okay, but over a period of time, when they saw the pros of this Agile, now I am confident enough to say 90% of the project runs through Agile method in today's world. Okay, big projects. No, I'm not talking about the small projects. If you are a real estate guy, you want to create your own website, okay, that can run into a waterfall method, not a problem. Okay, I am talking about corporate enterprise, right? You have Bell, right? You have Rogers, you have Facebook, you have Twitter, right? So they are running into Agile methodology. because the market is changing every day. They have to accommodate a lot of changes. They need to be agile, right, to accommodate those changes. All right. So main frameworks to implement agile in project. So there are mostly three methods. There are others also, but these are the most popular three: a Scrum based, Kanban, and extreme programming. And out of these three, a Scrum is most popular. I means I can say 70 to 80% of the teams which adopts agile, they go for a Scrum method. Okay, and it is the easiest to understand as well. So what is a Scrum based agile? Project team is structured in a specific manner to collaborate with each other effectively to achieve the requirement by accomplishing a smaller milestones in continuous manner. Okay, not a big project at a time, a smaller milestones. I have to develop a Facebook. First, I will develop a status update feature. Then I will create get friend list. Then I will create get photos, upload photos. Okay, then I will implement a feature of cover photo. Cover photo was not there. If you will go back 4 or 5 years ago, cover photo feature was not there, I think. Then they implemented. So continuous improvement is happening, okay? In iterative manner, right? So a Scrum team. So what is the structure of a Scrum team? Okay. So what we are talking about, agile methodology, a Scrum based agile methodology. Okay. That is the our method which we are going to learn. So what is the structure of a Scrum team? A project team, right? A project team. A Scrum team is nothing but a project team which has adopted agile methodology. Okay, a Scrum based agile methodology. So there will be one product owner. What is the role of product owner? So he will understand the business and he will break down that business ideas or business needs into technical requirement. Okay, and he will pass all the requirement to the team. So he's the main guy. Okay, who will approve that whether this requirement has been achieved or not. Okay, before sending it to the stakeholders for review. Then one, a scrum master. A scrum master. So with a scrum master facilitates entire thing in the project, from when the requirement will move, who will work on which requirement. Okay, okay, if someone is not having any access, how to get that access, if some test data is not there, how to arrange that test data, right? If someone is on leave in the Scrum team, what is the backup plan? Who will work on that thing? So everything, okay, in managing the things. This is a non-technical role, okay? So a Scrum Master will not be involved in any testing, development, designing, nothing. The Scrum Master will only facilitate all the things for the Scrum to operate, a Scrum team to operate, okay? But it is a very, very important role. Okay, without a Scrum Master you will feel that you cannot move. Okay, you cannot do anything, because if you will not have access of database, right, you are a tester, you don't know whom to contact. That the enterprise will not consist of only 10 people, right? So a Scrum Master integrates one team with another team and several other teams. Okay, one development lead. So development lead is nothing, just one experienced developer, okay, who has an experience of 10, 20 to 12 years or more than that. He can play a role of development lead. Then 4 or 5 developers, depending on how much stories they are going to take in one sprint, and 1 to 2 tester in QA. Again, if you will go to the book definition of a Scrum team, there is no concept of separate tester and developer. All the members of QA, these three, should be able to develop and test. Okay, but in real scenario that is not possible. Okay, because our IT field, okay, so it is not a new domain, right? So people are there. So if you will ask some developer that can you be a good tester, right? So he had never thought on those lines, right? He may not be able to test it properly. If you'll ask testers to develop, okay, 90% of people will change the domain itself. They will go to some other field that I don't know programming. 90% of the testers still are manual testers. Okay. But that is not good. You need to learn automation, okay, with time. So this is the practical format of any Scrum team. One product owner, one Scrum master, one development lead, 4 to 5 developers, and 2 testers, or 1 or 2 testers. Okay. Now, how a project runs. Now the requirement came, okay, to product owner. Owner got the business needs. Now he has to groom the entire team. Okay, so we call it as backlog refinement. Why backlog? I will come to that. Okay, in the next uh, segment. So he grooms the entire team about the requirement. Okay, then we plan that how and who will work on what, right? Then a stand-up meeting. This is a daily meeting which a Scrum team have in the mostly in the first hour of the day, okay, start of the day. And in the meeting, you are supposed to stand actually. You are not supposed to sit. Okay, in work from home setup, we all sit and attend this meeting. But when we were going to office, we used to assemble in a conference room, and while standing, we used to do these meetings. Okay, with the entire team, and that's why the name is stand-up meeting. So what we do in a stand-up, I will tell you that, okay, in detail. At the end, we do demo to the stakeholder. Someone had asked me this question on the first day, okay, that after development, whether we give it to the client or not for review, whether it has been developed correctly or not. So demo after every sprint. What is a sprint? I will tell you, okay, I will tell you. And at the end of a sprint, retrospective, we think, okay, what we have done good, what we have done bad, how to do improvement, right? All those things we retrospect. And then another sprint. So what is a sprint? You should have asked me, what is a sprint? So a sprint is a limited time in which you are supposed to deliver, okay, a small requirements. Mostly it is of 2 weeks. 2 weeks means 10 working days. 5 working days in 1 week and 2 weeks of a sprint. So 10 working days. In 10 working of days, we should only intake those many requirements which we can accomplish within 10 days. Okay, timeline. Okay, timeline of the project. So within 10 days, so product owner cannot give you many requirements, right? You should only intake those many requirements which you can accomplish in 10 days of window, right? So one sprint will be mostly of 2 weeks. A standard is 2 weeks. Anyone can have a 4 weeks as well. Okay. There is no definition, no binding. Okay. That you can have only for 2 weeks. Many teams can have for 3 weeks also. But a standard is 2 weeks. I have worked across many projects and I have never seen anyone having other than 2 weeks. Okay. So need a project management tool for collaboration of team. So where this grooming will happen, where you will keep the requirement, how the scrum master will know who is going to work on which story, which requirement, right? What is the status of whether we are going to achieve deliver within 10 days or not? What is the status? How you will track that? So for all the tracking and management purpose, you will need a tool, and the most popular tool in market is Jira. Okay, Jira. It is a name of an Indian spice as well, but this is a software tool. Okay, project management tool. So how Jira looks like. So now we are going into full practical mode from here. Okay, so what's the time? We have 35 more minutes. So let's open Jira. What is Jira? So this
Shailesh,
is a
one doubt,
Jira
Shailesh. Yeah.
Jira interface. Okay, this is how Jira looks like. So I have created a demo account here, okay, for first week in Canada. And this is the interface which will look like. You need not to bother about how we are going to get access and all. When you will join any project, they will create one user ID for you in Jira, okay? And when you will open Jira, it will look like this, okay? So there will be one roadmap. Roadmap means, so I will take one example here, okay, for your understanding. Suppose a new telecom company came in market, okay, and they want to create their full enterprise services, a mobile app, a help desk app, okay, many things, payment gateway, right? Many things they want to build, okay. For that, they have created one a Scrum team, okay, and one Scrum team has been given the work of help desk. You create services, SOA services for help desk, which should enable the help desk. At the front end, the help desk guy will be sitting, right? The call comes to the help desk. He should be able to see the mobile number, okay, And when he clicks on the get customer info, he should be able to see which customer is calling, right? If customer asks any specific question, the help desk guy should be able to fetch his account details on which plan he is, which device he is using, right? What add-ons he has on his number, right? All the information help desk guys should be able to fetch. So to support this front-end feature, we want to create web services. This is the requirement which came to the product owner. Product owner. I told you product owner, right? In many companies, they may call it as EO, experience owners. Okay, I will write it down, the full name itself. Experience owners or owner. Okay, both are same. If you go into any interview and if anyone asks experience owner, don't get confused. It is same as product owner. Okay. So product owner got the requirement that my team has to build web applications, web services to support help desk front end. Okay. So he has got that help desk should be able to see the basic customer information on the first screen. But when he sees the account details, he should be able to see the account details also. So what he has done is he has created a roadmap. Okay. He has created one epic. Write it down. Epic. 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 Epic is nothing but a requirement, a big requirement. Okay. So I have created one epic for you guys to understand. Okay. So create services for help desk to access customer and account info. This is a big requirement. Okay. So now what this epic will cover? Querying basic information, customer info by registered mobile number or email ID for verification purpose. Second, querying account ownership information by passing customer ID. Third, querying account details by account number. And fourth, accepting plan upgrade, downgrade, or termination request. So this is a big requirement, right? There are four functionality which needs to be delivered. So what product owner will do is he has created one epic. This is a big requirement. Okay, for tracking purpose, he has created one epic. Now he will further break it down. In what? So I will keep on noting down, okay? For you guys, if I'll send this document to you. So big requirement, epic. Okay, we call it as epic. Then we break down the epics into user stories, right? These are a smaller requirements. Okay, so how to break down into user stories? He will go to backlog. Okay, this is the term I have used while telling you the grooming. The grooming is called as backlog refinement as well. So what is backlog? Whatever is the requirement which the project team, the Scrum team has to do, okay, in future, okay, everything is kept in this backlog section. Okay, Jira is just giving these sections, but these are terms associated with agile. Okay, roadmap means what are the plans of the corporate. It is, I am having only one epic as of now. Okay, but if we'll go for the real, in the real project, they will have multiple epics. Create mobile application services, create web app application services, right? There can be many epics. Again, with epics, it will break down into user stories. In backlog, I have created two user stories for you now to understand. Okay, so the first user story, let me open it in new window. So this is the first user story. Okay, so see, this is the ID of this user story is MA1, middle tier API. I have given the name of my Scrum team. Okay, a Scrum project team. Okay, this is the software name, software team name. Okay, middle tier API. So this is the ID of user story, and this user story is linked to Epic. Okay, create services for help desk to access customer and account info. This was our Epic. So inside this Epic, we have created the requirement. So now the product owner has written, as a product owner, I want an API which can accept registered mobile number to fetch basic customer information from backend. Okay, so this is a requirement, right? When our API, when we pass a mobile number to our API, it should fetch the basic information of customer. What basic information? So basic is a vague word, right? Then response should have customer ID, full name, date of birth. Now there's a catch. Only month and year. Date should not be visible. Okay. This is a requirement. This is how you should read the user story and make your notes. Okay. So what happened is right now the sprint has not started. This is only the product owner who is creating the story. Okay. Then email ID and address of customer. These many information should be there. Full name, DOB, email ID, and address of the customer. Now, there should also be one comment if help desk should know anything about customer. Okay, this should also be there. So these are the requirements which product owner has written, okay, before going to the team. Now he has defined few acceptance criteria. Acceptance criteria means these points must be met before closing any user story. Okay, user story, we have to complete the user story within a sprint, right? I told you within a timeline. So it will not be called as done if any of these acceptance criteria are not met, and it will miss this sprint and it will carry forward to next sprint. A continuous sprints will keep on happening, okay, in large enterprises or companies. Okay, like a sprint 1, a sprint 2, a sprint 3, a sprint 4, a sprint 5, a sprint 6. It will keep on going. You think any corporate stops the enhancement? You must be using some apps, right? Bell app or Facebook app or Twitter app, Instagram. Every week or every second week, you will see some new feature coming, right? Don't you think that requirement keeps on changing? All right.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yes, so continuous sprints will be there. Okay, planned sprints will be there. So if you will not be able to finish any of these acceptance criteria, the user story will not be closed and it will be marked as a miss from the team and it will carry forward to the next sprint. But it is not, it will not give a good impression, okay, to the stakeholders. So product owner should be smart enough to create only those many user stories which his team can accomplish within 10 days of time. Okay, so he has defined the acceptance criteria. Like help desk should be able to query customer info with registered mobile number. Help desk should not be able to see date of birth and DOB should be in MM-YYYY format. Any comment about customer should be visible to help desk. API is successfully tested in SIT environment. This is a server, okay, where we will test. And consumer sign off must be received. So these are the acceptance criteria defined by the product owner. Again, in the same epic, he has created one more user story. Epic, you remember what was the epic? Epic was this. Let me open a new window. Epic was
Shailesh,
this. Sorry.
sorry, Shailesh. I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Uh,
Go on.
is the business analyst and product owners are same?
No.
No?
Product owner is a completely technical guy. Okay.
Okay.
Completely technical guy who understands business as well.
Okay.
So he will get the requirement. He will have meetings with BAs. Okay. That
Okay.
what business wants to achieve. Okay.
Okay.
So BA sits with sales team, okay, marketing teams, everyone who understands the user expectation. BA gets the requirement from there, right? They analyze the existing product, okay, they analyze the business need, and they come up with the business use cases to the product owners, and they pass the information to product owners, and product owners break those down into technical requirements. Means epics in agile. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So this is a big requirement and product owner is now breaking down into user stories.
Okay.
Epic is a big requirement. User stories are the smaller parts of epics. Okay, epics are broken down into simpler and smaller requirements. Okay, so this was the epic, and now he has already covered. I have already covered one user story. Now this is the second user story. Right. So with the first service, what he has done? pass the mobile number, get the basic customer information. Now with this one, he wants the full customer details, right? As a product owner, I want an API which can accept customer number to fetch details with account, plan, promotion, and device details. It should also fetch add-on plans if any. So this is the requirement, a small requirement. Now again, acceptance criteria. I am going to give access of this Jira to everyone. Okay, you can read these things. Okay, if possible, I will try to give access to everyone. If you can read. Otherwise, I will document it into Microsoft Word and I will pass it to you. Okay. These are again the acceptance criteria. Like help desk should be able to query customer details with customer ID. Help desk should be able to see any payment details, should not be able to see any payment details. Okay, so these are important things, right? So this product owner is writing, okay, the sprint has not started, team is unaware of this thing. So now the two user stories has been created in backlog. So product owner thinks for now I am good. Okay, I have requirement for only these two things now. So let's pass it to the team now. Let's start the sprint. Okay, so now what he will do is he will move from backlog, he will drag and drop the first story into a sprint one. Okay, a sprint one, if you will join any team in any company, right, the sprint number may be very huge, like a sprint 55, a sprints, because they are in continuous mode. You are joining in between. Okay, but when they started, for them also the project started from a sprint one. We are talking about help desk, creating a help desk feature from a scratch, right? So that's why sprint one. So now he has moved one story, user story, from backlog to a sprint one. He will move the second story as well in a sprint one. Sorry. Okay, so both the stories are moved to sprint one. Now here is the start sprint. So a sprint will start on a definite day of the week, like for someone it can be Monday, that the new sprint will start on Monday and it will end on next week Friday, right? Full 10 days. So first day will be grooming, right? I told you what happens, backlog refinement or grooming. The product owner will tell about the user stories to the entire team, and the entire team, including developers and testers, okay, will discuss about the requirement. Okay, if they think there is some mess in the requirement as per their knowledge, okay, or their experience, they can highlight it. Okay, what is needed for that development. Okay, if something is not available with the team, they will discuss it. Okay, that meeting will happen for 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Okay, that grooming meeting will happen. So whenever the sprint starts, it will be a definite day of the week, like Monday. So let's start the sprint on Monday. I am your product owner. I am starting the sprint on Monday. Okay, Monday 9 a.m. Every team member is in the conference room. Right now we are in work from home model, so we will connect through Webex or Zoom or whatever tool your company is using. So we will share the screen and start the sprint. Or if you are in the company, you are going to office, you will assemble in the conference room with the projector, and everyone will look into this backlog, Jira backlog, and product owner, or from here the Scrum Master role will start. Product owner has created the backlogs. Okay, now a Scrum Master will start the sprint. Okay, so he has given the name MA sprint 1. You can rename it. The duration is 2 weeks. The standard is 2 weeks. You can have any custom duration also. For now, we are keeping it at 2 weeks. So a start date. So suppose we are starting it on, so today is Friday. So let's start on Friday and end it on Thursday, 29, right? But this will be a definite period. Okay, so then the next sprint will again start on 30th. Okay, Friday only. When the first sprint will end, the next day, the new sprint will start. So let's start on this date, and end date it has taken automatically. Okay, if you want to give a sprint goal, like to complete whatever we are committing. Whatever we are committing, anything with whatever Scrum Master likes, he can give it. So let's start the sprint. So see, we came to board. Okay, we started with a roadmap. We defined, the product owner defined epic and roadmap. Again, he broke down the epic into user stories in backlogs, right? Backlogs, project backlogs. And then when you started the sprint, it came to board. So our board is middle tier API, and MA sprint one started. So now let me change, means I was doing something and I changed the status to in progress. Let me change it to do, okay? So that you will not get confused. Give me a moment. Ignore these things, okay? This is a free software. A lot of things are different than what we use in enterprise. Give me a moment. Okay, here. So again, I have changed to do. Okay, now I came here, I will refresh the page. Yeah, see. So when the sprint started, both these user stories has been moved to the sprint, and now, so this, what I'm going to, this is the sprint one, okay? So we have to take the story. Otherwise, in the backlog mode itself, the grooming can happen, okay? When the stories were here, okay? When the stories are here, the refinement can happen there itself. So based on what the stories are moved from backlog to a sprint, based on the priority, right? What product owner thinks is the priority, what we have to deliver first. So right now we have only 2 stories, but think there are 20 user stories here, okay? So product owner discuss with Scrum Master that what is priority, what we want to achieve first, and then those stories are moved to the sprint, okay, which are priority. Then we will go to the board and we will open one story, first story first, okay? And the entire team is sitting now with the product owner, a scrum master, 5 developers, one lead developer, okay? Everyone is sitting together and we are opening this story. And now the discussion will start. Product owner will groom it, okay? That what he wants, okay? And what is the purpose, okay? It is going to develop for help desk, right? Help desk. So developers will ask, okay? That means what applications should they use, right? What language? Because this is a new team, right? New team. The first requirement came, so the questions can be very basic, right? That how we are going to get the details of database, how we are going to connect to the database, right? Anything you can discuss. So in grooming, you can discuss anything, whatever is coming to your mind related to that story, you can ask, you can discuss, okay? Because this is the only opportunity when you can catch the defects, if any, or if any feasibility issue is there, you can catch there itself. After committing into the grooming and planning, you cannot go back to the product owner and say that there was a blocker, okay? Blocker may come in between the sprint. At that time, you are justified to say that my story got blocked. But if you will say that this story was not at all possible at the beginning itself, but still we took it into the sprint and we committed for it, then it is not acceptable. Okay, it will go against you. So as a tester, you should be aware that what you need to test this, okay, and you should highlight this, okay, while grooming itself, whether it is feasible to it is feasible to take this story in the sprint or not. So full discussion will happen in the grooming, okay, about this story. Right? Developers will ask their question, testers will ask their question, product owner will take your suggestion, okay? All the grooming will happen, okay? Then they will assign it to someone, okay? Or leave it, that assignment, leave it for now. So now the entire team's told, okay, we understood this story. So fine, so this will be in this sprint. If team thinks it cannot be in this sprint, a scrum master or product owner can move it back to the backlog. That this story is not possible, right? Or if you are going to do it, they will keep it in the sprint, okay? Now, same way, the grooming will happen for the another story as well. I have already shown you this thing, right? So again, the grooming will happen. Product owner will tell what is the requirement, and what all things are the acceptance criteria, everything will be discussed, and you can ask your question, you can give your suggestions, everything you can do here. Okay, now the grooming done. Now what will happen? Planning, right? Planning, who will work on it, what is the scope of it? So like 4 developers are there, right? Both stories cannot be assigned to a single developer, right? Or both stories cannot be assigned to a single tester. Whether one tester will be able to handle these 2 stories in one sprint or not, that also we have to see, right? Because the one Scrum team has a limited resource, 4 5 developers and 2 testers, right? So for now, I'm giving you a picture of only 2 user stories. In real time, there will be 7 8 stories. Okay. Then what we will do is we will open the stories and we will ask everyone. Okay. So how much effort? So grooming call done. Okay. So many teams do grooming and planning in the same call. Okay. Many teams grooming and planning they do in the same call. Some teams what they do is grooming they do immediately after the end of previous sprint, like on Friday, the sprint ended, right? The demo to the client happened, the stakeholders happened. After that, by the end of the day, a Scrum Master will ask everyone to assemble and do the grooming for the next sprint. Okay, that also happens. Okay, and planning happens on the first day of the sprint, or many teams do grooming and planning together on the first day of the sprint. So, what we do in the planning? In planning, first of all, they see that how much effort you think will be needed for this. Okay, how much testing effort you think will be needed for this, how much development effort will be needed for this. Okay, and based on that we point the story. Okay, we assign the point of a story. I'm not sure whether in this free Jira access we have this feature or not, but let me see. Okay, I don't think so. Okay, but in the real time you will have one story point. Okay, a story point. Okay, a story point is there. Story point is there. So if you will go here, so let me go back to the note word file. Okay, so there are few definite story points. User story points. What are they? Okay, degree of effort needed. Sorry, I misspelled it. Degree of effort needed to complete any specific user story. So standard wise, there are certain story points: 13, 8, 5, 3. Okay, these are the standard user story points. If it is very difficult, the story point is 13. Okay, so what they will do? Scrum Master, the Scrum Master, who facilitates the entire Scrum, right? I told you, the Scrum Master, which facilitates the entire Scrum team. He or she will adopt some mechanism, okay, to take. So all the team members are there, okay, with their laptop in the conference room, or they are connected from their remote homes, right, or somewhere. So she will or he will start a planning poker game. Okay, planning poker game. So for planning poker, there can be many uh, tools in the market. Okay, or the team's normal communicator also you can use. Okay, like we have a communicator in Facebook, right? So if I am connected to, like, let me like I am connected to, I am unable to recall the names of the participants. Okay, so suppose Tanuja is there, Suman is there, Tarun Preet is there, right? So all three are parallelly communicating with me over Facebook chat, right? And if I ask the same question in Bevek's meeting, and I will ask Suman, Tanuja, and Tarunpreet at the same time, please give me your story points. So Tarunpreet cannot see what Tanuja is chatting with me. Tanuja cannot see what Suman is chatting with me, right? But they all can ping me the story points, right? In Webex also, if you will go to the chat option, this is how the teams do, okay? In Webex, if you will go, you can select your Scrum Master, okay, in the chat, and you can ping to him, okay, the story point. So once the stories are groomed, okay, properly, all the discussions happened, a scrum master will ask the entire team, what do you think? What should be the story point? And a planning poker game with any tool where all the participants can ping their story points at the same time, that mechanism can be used. Okay. So suppose one person told, I think it is very simple. It is very simple. I think it is three. Okay. Three people told it is of a little medium complexity and we can give five, right? But four of the developers think that it is eight. It is it is means more than medium complex, okay? But one developer thinks it is huge. It is a huge story, okay? So now a Scrum Master have the input from all the users, right? So suppose there are 10 members, 10 members, two gave 13, three gave 8, two gave 5, right? 2 plus 3 plus 2, 7, right? And 3 gave 3, right? Now, the Scrum Master will ask, okay, the majority is giving 3, right? 3 has the most number of votes and 8 also. So there is not a consensus, right? So the least point givers, first Scrum Master will go to them and ask them that why you think it is 3. So they will tell their understanding, what they understood and why they think it is very easy to implement. And it may be possible that people who are reading between the lines, which is unnecessary and gave 13, they will agree to them now after this discussion, right? But if the other people are still rigid with their points, then he or she, the scrum master will go to this other set of people who has given 8, right? That why you think it is 8, right? So they will give their clarification that why they think it is of medium complexity. Then she will go to 13. Okay. So a good amount of discussion will happen with the understanding of each of those. Okay. And if someone has missed something, okay, again, they will understand the requirement properly. If anyone is over reading the requirement, okay, they will come to know, okay, the complexity was not that much. I was thinking too much about it. Okay, so this is the relevance of user story point. So after a discussion, suppose we gave it 5, so it is fixed that the user story point is 5 for this user story. Then the another story will be opened for this, again the same round of planning poker game will be played, okay, where all the users will give what they think how complex the story is. Again the discussion will happen if there is no consensus. But suppose there's a case where 8 people gave 5, one gave 3, one gave 13. So here we have achieved a clear-cut majority, right? But the difference is huge, 5 and 13, right? So again, the Scrum Master will go to this 13% first now and see, or he will ask that why you think it is 13 pointer? Why you think it is a 13 pointer story? So that person will give the justification that why he thinks. So maybe these 8 people who gave 5 may have missed something to understand that this service has to pull data from some database, which is a third party managed database. And connecting to that database itself is very difficult. You have to write a lot of code for that. A lot of securities are involved, right? Then these 8 people may change their point to 13. Okay, but the whole purpose of this planning poker and user story point is to discuss further on the requirement. Every person can understand the requirement in different way, right? And he or she can think the different degree of difficulty in the user story. So after a good round of discussion, everyone comes on a same page, including product owner developer, development lead, testing team, development team, everyone. So now the requirement is understood properly and everyone is on same line. Developer will develop based on the same understanding, tester will test on the same understanding, right? And while discussing it, product owner can also come to know, okay, guys, you have raised a very important point. I think I had missed this point while writing the requirement, right? Writing the epic or user story. Let me refine those things. So can you now see how things are getting simplified? What we have discussed on day 1 and day 2? Anyone is unclear till here? Yes, go ahead. Someone has
So
raised hand.
Shailesh, I have a question.
Yes.
So what if like everybody like gave the same story points? Like there can be a scenario. So like in that case, like there will be like further discussion about the project,
No,
or like will the
no,
product owner be clear?
mostly no, because the grooming has already happened, right?
Okay.
The grooming is already happened. Now planning is happening, right? Planning
Hmm.
means how much time is needed, who will do it, right? Whether we will be, how much effort will be needed there, right? So discussion is more on the effort side. Okay. So if everyone thinks it is a 5 pointer, so people usually don't waste time on that. Okay. Unless anyone wants to say something about it. Okay. So suppose 10 people give 5 pointer, right?
Hmm.
So there will be no further discussion. Everyone will accept, okay, it is a 5 pointer story. This much effort is needed. That's fine. So what is the relevance of this user story? I will come back to that in the next segment. And today I have a hard stop at 9. Okay, so only 2 minutes left.
Okay.
So we have pointed this story also a 5 pointer, right? Similarly, all the other user stories, right, will be pointed. Okay, but there will be a certain number which can be covered in one sprint, right? The capacity of 5 developers, one developer can take maximum 13 points. So this is the difficulty level which comes after 8, 9 sprints. Okay, after working. So what is the, so in first sprint, you will commit 5 point plus 5 point, 10 points, right? And similarly, 4 more stories are there, you will commit. So suppose 6 stories are there and you have given 5 points each. So you have committed 30 points, suppose, for one sprint. But at the end of the sprint, you are able to cover only 25 points, right? Then nothing will happen. In the first sprint, nothing will happen because everything is running in trial and error method. In the next sprint, again, you will point for 30 and see whether you are able to complete 30 or not. But again, suppose you are able to do only 25 points. So after 3 or 4 sprints, your product owner and a scrum master will come to know that the capability of our scrum team is 25 points. So from that point, they will take only the user stories of 25 points so that they don't miss the timeline. The user stories should not get carry forward to the next sprint. But that will be achieved only after 2, 4, 5 sprints, a good number of sprints. So in first few sprints, you will plan for anything what a scrum master or product owner thinks, okay, that we can achieve 40 points. So they will plan for 40 points and you will try to cover it, okay, without burdening yourself, right? Normal 8 hours of effort you will put, every team member will put, and you will see how much you are able to do in a sprint. After 4, 5 sprints, same practice you will do for 5 sprints. You will come to know after 5 sprints that our ability is 25 points only. Then there is no point in committing 30 points, right? Let's plan for 25 points only and deliver that much. So the capability of a scrum team will be fixed, right? Clear till here? Anyone? Any issues till here? Because I have a hard stop today at 9. So I have to stop here itself. If you have any question, please ask.
Hi, Shailesh. Janil
Yeah.
here.
Hi,
Hi,
Janil.
I have quick questions. There are three of them. First, I want to ask you is like, what does a tester do when the project is like when the coders are typing the codes? What do they do?
Yes,
It is
testing.
completely irrelevant, I know. Like, but
Yes.
then I
No,
just
no, no.
want
This is totally relevant. This is totally relevant, and I will cover it tomorrow. Okay, I will cover
Okay.
it tomorrow. Right now, you have started the project. The
Yeah.
requirement came. You understood the
Yeah.
project requirement, right? You pointed you have planned the requirement that how much effort is needed. Okay, not only from tester's perspective. In the
Yes.
agile, you have to think from the team's perspective. Okay, you have
Right.
to put your foot in the shoes of developer, right? And you have to think about him. Developer has to put his shoes in the tester's shoes, and he has to think as an overall development how much effort will be needed.
Correct. And I just one last question.
Mhm.
Is Jira just like the Dynamics? Because in my workplace we use Dynamics, Microsoft Dynamics to run our
Yes.
operations.
Yes. So any project management tool is fine, but most popular one is Jira. Okay. I have worked across 4 organizations till now in India, and now I'm working and I have handled more than 20 clients till now, more than 20 clients till now. I have never seen anyone working beyond Jira in IT companies. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Just wanted to know
there
like
can
the
be
use
some
of.
companies, okay, running in some other project tools, but I have not experienced any such tools apart from Jira.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you so much for answering my questions.
So we have not reached the point of test planning. This is the day one of the project. Okay. Day one, the first 2 hours of day one of the sprint in Agile. Okay. After this, the real project will start. What testers will be doing? Yes, Jayesh, tell me.
Shailaji, the point structure what you mentioned, is it stagnant with all the companies? 13, 8, 5,
Mostly,
3?
mostly. This is the standard, okay? Unless anyone wants their own pointing structure. Because this comes predefined in Jira, but the custom option is also there if you want any custom points. So anything beyond 13, okay? Suppose someone thinks that the story is beyond 13, okay? It is very complex. So beyond 13, there cannot be a story that will be converted into an epic, big requirement.
Okay. Is there any maximum point that gets into a project that it is impossible kinds or
13, right? 13. If any
okay,
user story has more than 13 points, it cannot be a user story. It should be further broken down in 2 stories.
okay,
Okay.
thank you.
And for a sprint capacity, first you will intake many stories in the first sprint when suppose a new team is there, right? So they will take 50 story points, right? 8 stories and total 50 story points. They will try to cover it. But suppose they failed, right? They were able to do only 40 points. So again, in the next sprint, again, they will plan for 50. Again, they will fail. Okay. But after 3, 4 sprints, they will come to know, okay, our capability is only 40 points, not
Okay,
beyond that. Then what's the fun in putting 50 points every time and putting a bad impression in front of our stakeholders that we are committing more and achieving less? So
understood.
they give a sprint velocity. Okay, the another term, a sprint velocity. Velocity, capacity of one Scrum team in terms of user story points. So
Shailesh, one quick question. So
mhm,
this story points are for developers only or a whole team?
whole team. In Agile, there is no concept of developers and testers. This is what I told you, right? If you'll go to the book's definition, there are only team members. Okay, these three are does not exist in Agile definition. One product owner, one Scrum master, 7, 8 Scrum members. Okay,
Okay.
but it is tough to achieve. Okay, with multifunctional guys. Okay, so that's why our project teams hire two QA 4 or 5 developers, but while planning or grooming, you have to think from everyone's perspective. You cannot say that, okay, it is very easy, I can test it in one day, but developers need 4, 4, 5 days to develop it. Okay.
Mhm.
So you have to think from their perspective also. That's why all the discussion happens, right? That's why all the grooming that happens. That's why all the planning happens. You can give the points, okay? Don't feel bad about giving 3 pointers. Give 3 pointers. That I think it is very simple. The testing is very simple. Then developer will tell you, guy, man, you have to connect to this database. You have to connect to this mainframe system. Then you will come to know, okay, it was very tough. I was wrong.
Mhm.
So your
Yeah,
perspective will also open, right? While discussing it.
I see. That's why the discussions happen, right? To make
Yes,
sure.
yes. Developer will say 3 pointer, right?
Mhm.
Development was very easy. But while testing, fetching test data, you have to contact 8 different database teams.
Mm-hmm.
You will say, man, you have to think from my perspective. It is not a 3-pointer, it is definitely 8-pointer. Testing is very tough. It is going to take at least 1 week of testing. We have to consolidate data from 8 different databases, right?
Yeah.
So that's why all the discussion happens. Don't copy others in giving points.
Mm-hmm.
Give points what you think. 3 is for very easy, 13 is for very tough, 5 is relatively
Average.
tougher than easier, and 8 is relatively easier than the highest complexity. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, guys. So I am ending this session, and before you go, let me stop the recording and stop the YouTube streaming. I have to tell you one very important thing. Another 2 minutes. I had to stop at 9, but I have already overshot at 7 minutes. Okay, so let me stop the recording. Bye, everyone, and give me 2 minutes.